Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer. Today we're going to take a look at Zombicide, Undead or Alive, from CMON. What? A joke? What's a zombie's favorite language? Latin. Because it's a dead language. Okay, it didn't work.
My zombie girl claws her way up through the soil. She wants me bad, but I know that she'll stay loyal. She wants a kiss, leans in like this, then bites off my lower lip. She's in my heart, but wants in my head. I'm in love with the living dead. She's one of the dead. She's one of the dead. She's one of the dead. I'm in love with the dead. Her teeth start to rot, but I think her body's still smoking hot. Yeah, she lost some weight. I'm not shallow, but I think it's great. She once was pink, but now she's all gray. I kinda like it more this way, 'cause she doesn't nag.
We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. The latest iteration of Zombicide takes us to the Old West. Zombicide, Undead or Alive, for 1 to 6 players, is a game of cowboys and rough 'em up and the undead. Now, if you're familiar with Zombicide, I'm not going to go over all the basic rules. I've done many games, many reviews of Zombicide games. Sean did a great review of the basic game years ago. So I'm not going to go ahead and hit that. I'm just going to talk about some of the things that make this version different. The first, of course, is the setting. Zombicide, Undead or Alive takes place in the Old West. So, of course, your tiles reflect kind of saloons and Wild West areas and mines and train tracks and trains. Now, one of the changes here is traditionally in Zombicide, you would have the noise tokens that you'd place out everywhere to denote where the monsters would go. And you'd place a number of the tokens out there. Here you just have one bang and boom token with a regular gun. The last one that is shot, you place it in that spot. That's where the zombies are going to head if they don't have line of sight on anybody. There are some weapons that you will use that will cause a louder sound, in which case you put the boom out there to show that it's a louder sound. Now, this version also boasts bounty weapons. Now, these are very powerful weapons. Now, you can get these from the crates. If you explore a crate in most scenarios, you can gain a bounty weapon. But also, the bounty weapons have text printed on them. And if you are able to accomplish a specific task with that, that's on that bounty weapon, then you can claim that bounty weapon if it's at the top of the deck. Now, like previous editions of Zombicide, on your player tray, you kind of have the 3 backpack areas and you have the 2 equipped areas. However, in this one, you also have a favorite weapon. Now, your favorite weapon can only be a weapon that is specifically associated with that character, and it's a way to kind of help them soup up and use those weapons in special occasions. But essentially, you've got now 3 equipped weapons. Now, of course, there's no cars in the Old West, but you do have wagons. You do have a wagon that you can place there. You can move the wagon. I think it costs 3 of your actions, all 3 of your actions, to move it from one space to another. And there's also a Gatling gun, which you can use, that does a damage of 2, and you can, of course, roll a lot of die to get rid of zombies with that thing. Now, one thing that really differentiates this version from previous editions of Zombicide is your survivors have classes, meaning there are, I believe, 4 specific kind of specializations that they have. The first class is Brawler. Now, a Brawler essentially has the ability on their turn to run 2 spaces, up to 2 spaces, and get a free melee action. So this is kind of a way of, crossing that distance quickly and just wreaking havoc among the zombies. Now, you also have the Faithful class. Now, the Faithful class can do some interesting things. The Faithful class can essentially put down a Vede Retro token in a space with zombies. And what that means is, when you put that token down during the next zombie activation phase, instead of activating, you simply remove the token. Those zombies just stay still. They don't do anything that turn. Zombies can still move into it for the activation, but none of the zombies there will move into another spot. You've essentially taken a turn away from the zombies in that spot. Now, there's also temporary spawn zones, and I'll talk more about that later. One of the things that you can find when you're searching is holy water to essentially defeat those, but the faithful, they can use regular water, they can turn it into holy water, and they can use that in order to remove those temporary spawn zones. There's also the Gunslinger class. Now, the Gunslinger class can engage in what is called as fanning. Essentially, they're fanning their gun. They're going ahead, and with their pistol, they're firing all 6 of their bullets very quickly in an arc. Now, what this means is they get to roll 6 dice, and on a roll of 5 or a 6, they get a hit. So it just gives them a lot more chances on a turn. However, after they fan, if they want to shoot again that turn, they have to spend an action to reload their gun. Otherwise, it will reload automatically at the end of the turn. And finally, you have the Townsfolk class. The Townsfolk can essentially, they're not limited to one search action. Where every other survivor can only search once on their turn, they can search as many times as they've got actions. That can be very helpful when you're searching for something like dynamite, which you need to defeat the abominations. But also, too, they don't have the restrictions of line of sight inside buildings. Whereas other characters can just see into the adjacent rooms, they can see further all the way to the end, provided there are doors there. So they have a much better chance of taking out zombies inside buildings. Now, some of these characters do start with only 2 health instead of 3. Some of them are able to gain that 3rd health with it once they get to a certain action. I think if they choose Brawler, they can go ahead and advance to the 3rd health marker. Now, I mentioned temporary spawn zones. If you go into a building, you don't immediately spawn zombies here. Rather, what you do is each building has rooms that have essentially heaps of dead that were in sheets that they just hurried and put in there. Well, now they're coming back to life. So if you go into the building, these spawn zones begin to appear. Now, as I say, if you use holy water or water if you're one of the faithful, you can just throw that water for an action on that. I think you gain some AP, and you can flip that temporary spawn zone over. I believe certain conditions can make them active once again. Now, also, during the spawn phase, if players select a card and they need to spawn zombies and there are no zombies left, then they immediately must spawn an abomination. If the abomination is already on the board, that abomination gets an extra activation. So there's a few other little things that this game brings, this expansion brings to your game, but that is basically what you're getting with that expansion. This new Wild West outfit, new zombies, new abominations, and of course new survivors. And I got to tell you, so first of all, I played this game about 3 or 4 times now, and I will say I think this one is generally a pretty challenging game. I think it's more challenging. I'm a big fan of the Night of the Living Dead one, but it's a little on the easy side. This one feels like it's a little tougher, the missions. Like I say, I guess I played it 4 times. I played this one 4 times now. And of those 4 times, I have won 1. We've won 1 time, and I was funny because I played it the first time with Kim, and we were just right like this. We were just about to win, and the zombies got us. And then we played a game. I think it was Mike, Nate, and I. And again, it got really close, but we won it. We were good. And then I played it again with some friends, and it failed miserably both times. I think one we got kind of close. The other one we didn't even get close. So. But it's a fun game. I love Zombicide. I love it. I think this is a great version of it. I think it brings a lot of new fun and interesting things to your table. So on the surface of it, my recommendation would be, of course, buy it. But if you're like me and you really like Zombicide, I've got, I think, every core game of Zombicide, minus the first edition. And I've got a few expansions. And it's kind of one of those questions, I think it was Board Game Co. asked it a while back, how much Zombicide do you need? Because it's essentially the same game. You're essentially playing the same game. It's fun and it's different and they add cool things to it. But do you need it? Well, of course, I mean, there's an argument to be made we don't need any games, really, I suppose. But I'm kind of one of these people that just wants to go all in on Zombicide. I mean, I never go all in. I don't usually buy all the expansions. Sometimes I'll buy an expansion. But I love this game so much. To me, this is so much fun. I love the teamwork of Zombicide. I love the negotiation. It's tense. It's exciting. It's a little bit scary. And I'm always a big fan of Zombicide. Whenever I play Zombicide, I walk away with a big smile on my face. So do my friends. Mike, my friend, had never played Zombicide before. So I played with him now a few times, and he's in love with it. He is absolutely in love with Zombicide. He said as soon as he finished the first game, he was like, oh, when can I play it again? When can I play it again? So we had to play it again. But he really, really got a kick out of this game, and I don't blame him. I've loved Zombicide since the beginning. Actually, years ago, a friend of mine, for like my birthday or something, gave me the first edition of the game, and we fell in love with it. And then I've gotten other editions, and so I ended up giving that. I think I gave it to Sean, but I've just absolutely love Zombicide. This version is a fantastic version. I didn't talk about the trains. There's trains that come in. There's train tracks, and they flip over and they become the train. And a lot of the scenarios are you've got to get on the train and get out, and it's fun and it's tense, and you're rescuing other people. And it's just a phenomenal game. It's so much fun. You've got to decide that for yourself. When is too much Zombicide? For me, it's still not enough. I still love the game. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say buy it. I'm going to give it a buy it recommendation. It's probably right now, having played it a few times, certainly on the upper tier of my favorite Zombicides. I might have to do a ranking video of what I think of the core boxes at some point. We'll see. But in any event, I really love this game. I'm going to say buy it and check it out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history, fun things like that. Please check it out, please subscribe, and please leave a thumb to this video on Board Game Geek. That helps us out a lot. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I've always been curious about just what it is that dyslexic zombies eat. Brian's?
My zombie girl doesn't need me to buy her stupid flowers. She doesn't raw meat. Every ounce I bring her, she devours. I took her home to see Mom and Dad. Didn't think.
I gotta say, I hate this game. Psych, I love it. It's my favorite game, as a matter of fact.